Thanks for joining us in this part 6 of our Vanbuild series.
Let nobody's waiting.
In our last vlog, we finished our bed over garage bulkhead to start the process of building up our living area. We insulated the floor and covered with ply before topping with a durable lino finish. Created a stylish pull-out table from beneath the bed over a planned seating area. Installed a Nordcap 2 kilowatt diesel heater that ducts through a very tidy step down from the cab. And built frameworks to support kitchen units that will oppose a seating unit over a dual composting toilet and chest fridge. In this vlog, we'll be trimming our living area to cab divide. Nicky will be trimming all our exterior doors. We will fit a window surround to the area behind what will be our kitchen. And we will complete the overhead cupboards that will run the full length of our habitat. I've learned that there's an ideal start and finish point to build the habitat inside these Fiat-based vans. Now, we've already mentioned the point in the rear, so the van itself actually gives you a dedicated line that you can see running all the way from the bottom all the way to the top. And there's an equally useful one here at the front as well. These points make for a defined start and finish point that easily ties into the floor and ceiling, making for an easy build and visual continuity. Most bought vans to convert have a bulkhead between the cab area and the storage area. It is the preference of many to remove this bulkhead to open up the van and allow easy access from the cab area into the living habitat. Here, the factory trim falls short of being complete as we transition from the cab into the habitat. So before we can finish off the living area, we need to complete the trimming of the cab divide to make aesthetic the transition from one area into the other. Solway Panels produce a tidy trim kit that complements the original cab trim, but with a hefty price tag of approximately £300, working to a budget, we purchased a plywood trim kit at a third of the price. However, it soon became apparent that these plywood offerings are not exactly complete and leave a sightly void that would need some ingenuity to make good. And here's how we did it. We had already stripped out the cab's headlining, a fairly straightforward job but essential to add some much needed insulation to a large metal area prone to condensation. The curved shape and limited space doesn't allow for using our preferred sheet wool insulation, as holding in place would be nigh on impossible without losing pretty much all of that useful storage space. So here we prefer to fix sticky backed thermal insulation and top with stretch carpet for aesthetics. Now, anything sticky hates cold temperatures, so this is a job we don't tackle in the winter. So first we use a scotch pad to roughen up the paint for good adhesion. Panel wipe again removes all residues. And then we offer up and apply our Dodo thermal liner. Starting from the windscreen and ensuring all lined up correctly, we move upwards, removing the sticky protective layer a little bit at a time. Once up, we can then grab a cloth and press all over to ensure good adhesion. It's then easier as a two-man job to spray glue the stretch fabric over the top, starting again from the windscreen, up the middle, and then out towards the sides. This is a tricky area and mistakes are easily made, but don't worry, once all is built back up, most of what you see will now be hidden. Bit gluey. Once the shelf is back in place and bolted down, the headliner is easily popped back in place and ready now for us to start on trimming the divide. So this is the trim kit that's available. You'll often find it for sale on Facebook groups or on eBay in at around £100, more often than not with post and package. However, it's not as complete as you might think, because there is a huge gap which runs all the way along the sides and another one that runs all the way across the top. And that's a gap that you've got to fill with something, and you've got to fill that to make it look anything half decent. Now, I had the idea of using some thin flexible ply, and what I did was bond and tack that ply all the way along that edge. It wasn't the easiest of jobs and it looked a bit rough, but once we covered it with stretch carpet, it looked absolutely fantastic. However, I've seen some people use this, some polyurethane sheet. What they did was exactly the same, tack it to that edge and run it around all of those curbs. And to be honest with you, it might have been the better option. The top was a little easier. Once we'd scribed exactly where the gap needed to fill, we then used strips of ply to laminate that area and bridge that gap. Once we'd done that, all of the pieces were covered in stretch fabric. And once finished and put up, I was surprised just how well they looked. Do let me know what you used to fill that gap, or whether you may think it would have been a better idea to splash out a bit more extra money and waste a little less time on one of these. As with our rear windows, the internal ply covering had been offered up and window holes scribed around a square internal window frame. The ply that was screwed in place was removed to reveal the box frame that we'd tacked in place in all four corners with superglue to the van side. This temporary bond held the frame firmly in place whilst we could exactly scribe the window hole onto the ply, and could then be easily broken to remove the frame that was then bonded onto the ply once the window hole had been cut. Our window frame is now therefore part of the removable side panel and makes for easy installation. Varnish is always applied to the unprotected wood, especially around a window area that could be prone to water ingression and condensation. Unlike the bedroom window wall, PIR insulation board was added in 2 layers. The whole apparatus, including insulation, was easily fixed in one piece onto 2 wooden beams that spaced the panel flush with the van's protruding frame that you can see just on the right side there. Now we assume this area will be tiled, but Darren suggested he would appreciate a stainless steel look, which I instantly knew sounded more difficult than perhaps what was expected. So this is the product that we managed to find Darren to achieve the look that he wanted. It's from a company called Sheet Plastics and it's called Skybond. It's a 4mm acrylic that's coated on one side with a very, very thin sheet of brushed aluminium that looks like stainless steel and white coated the other side. It's very expensive, but it's very, very lightweight and works like wood, so we could cut it with a jigsaw and a router. It was therefore very, very easy to cut out the profile that we'd achieved in ply and then bond it to the ply to get the effect that we wanted. We could have tried using stainless steel, but stainless steel is very hard, and even though it's likely we could have had guillotined the overall profile of the window surround, it would have been very, very difficult to cut out the window hole without it looking rough or perhaps even scorched. We tried using plastic laminates over ply, and they were just unsightly. So this material comes in different thicknesses with different colour coatings as well. So if you're trying to achieve a look, it's worth giving Sheet Plastics a look and look for the product called Skybond. Time now to pre-fit our kitchen units. The supplied plastic kitchen legs we'd replace with a rigid frame, but for extra support I decided to use one leg in the centre of each unit. There are many who would not recommend using readily available kitchen units, as can deteriorate in a van's damp environment. There is some truth in that, but this is an anyone can do van build with a given budget. And if perhaps after several years the units deteriorate, it will be a cheap and easy job to replace them. So with the units in situ, I can profile the wall to the rear of the seating area and check all's well. By now, you may have realised all my ceiling, flooring and walls are made of separate panels. This ties in with my ideas of easy zone building and primarily allows for the easiest of access right back to the van's metal for easy systems checks, repairs and renewals, and any modifications you may want to do in the future. Having insulated and battened the area for support, I protected an area I'd missed with a little varnish and popped the panel back in place to now finish building our overhead cupboards. Continuing the run of cupboards from over our bed area, a framework was again created from stud wall battens. The interior of the van was prepared using our preferred sheet-wool insulation held in place with garden mesh. An angled alloy support for the cupboard base bridged between the cab and the bed bulkheads, and was screwed in place through the Skybond to the wood supports, and the wood support you saw me varnish earlier. With the frame in place fixed to the wood battens on our roof supports, cab bulkhead and adjacent frame over the bed, we could now offer up the cupboard base to check all would align and fit well.
It's not really straight.
Back on the bench, all was glued and screwed together before being given a coat of primer, and then painted in our themed colour.
Don't you dare go into that cab. I want to do something.
Yeah, put that line. At the same time, Darren was given a lesson in stretch carpet covering the panel. Your sore finger?
No.
That's it, lovely. Being flat would be an easy task and an ideal lesson without anything going dramatically wrong.
Ta-da!
How's that?
That's good.
Well done. Up then went the cupboard frame and base, drilling up through the base and angled alloy frame to hold firm with neat dome-headed stainless steel bolts, washers, spring washers and nuts. And when all was secure, on went the side panel, and off came the protective coating to reveal a very tidy job indeed.
Ta-da!
Only the cupboards to back now before we complete with fronts in a future vlog. We again cut some PVC sheet, and with a simple bend in the middle, the sheets literally pop into place and rigidly hold back and secure the sheet wall insulation. I believe there is no easier way to back an overhead locker, and again, like many aspects of this build, allows easy access for monitoring and system changes. I have though been saving the best features until last. Just check out Nicky's back doors. What was fairly scabby back and side doors have been transformed with Nicky's sterling work over a 3-day period, starting with a big shout out and a thank you to Jodie from VanVentures that I will link in the description. Following Jodie's instructions, rubber U-trim was successfully bonded using superglue to all doors, following a scribed line within the contact area of the van's rubber trim. Stretch fabric was then applied to the protruding frame of the door from top to bottom before working inward. Access areas were trimmed, along with the outer edges, which were made neat by poking into the U-shaped seal. Base panels and window panels were made, varnished and coated in stretch fabric, and after a little sound deadening and insulation added to the door, the bottom cover was screwed into place, and top window cover bonded in with CT1. The side door got the same treatment, with a little ingenuity when it came to trimming. What are you doing?
I'm trimming carpet
You're trimming carpet.
because that's the only way I could do it. It's the only way I could get to the bottom of the door is to lay on the floor, and it's working a treat.
Is it?
It's the best view I've ever had. Honestly.
I love you.
I know the things I do
I know.
after work.
I know.
This is my second job of the day.
I know. So that brings us to the end of this part 6 of our van build series. We have spent £600 on all these aspects of the build, bringing our grand total to £5,650. Again, can it have been done any cheaper? Yes, of course it can. That Skybond panel was a bit of luxury at £100, where paint would have been an economical option. That bulkhead trim you can easily make yourself, saving £100, using cardboard templates, time and effort. Now we can't compare at this stage with our own van build, as our van started life as a crew cab and came with a full bulkhead trim pack. All of our doors were in great condition, so besides insulating the interiors we didn't cover, and our kitchen backsplash is a small affair made up of sticky aluminium tiles. In our next vlog we will be installing all of our systems and explaining why we chose such systems and accessories. We will be installing a Julka Gotta-Go toilet, a chest fridge, wiring the van to the EcoFlow portable power station, and plumbing water and filtering it through a Water2 water filter. Now don't forget to like and subscribe to not miss out on our up and coming van build series as we convert these 2 XBT L2 vans into tiny home from homes that we're either going to hire out or sell. Now this series will be very different to anything we've done in the past, as Nicky and I will be going head to head in a his and hers build off.
So if, like me, you've got no experience in this van build series, you can follow along and learn with me. Did it! Oh my god.
Take a deep breath.
Okay.
And
So if you have no
if you're
you're
you. This is why they take a month to get out.
okay, right then.
Compose.
Got it.
Deep breath.
Oh, I'm freezing my tits off.